Hi there, this is Next Tech Insider, powered by Empiric, where we're looking to banter with some of the most eclectic, pioneering minds to uncover the insider view on tech issues that really matter, both for business and citizens. Now today, in my hot seat is Ben Austin. Thank you for being here, Ben. Ben is co-founder and a general partner at Inventure Group. And I'm going to be getting your take, Ben, no pressure, on the funding landscape for startups and where we're going with the VC ecosystem. Thank you for doing this.
Great, thrilled to be here.
Brilliant. Let's kick off.
Okay.
So, Ben, you have really enviable first-hand experience, and not too many people are in that position of being on all sides of this equation, really, both raising early-stage funding for your own ventures as an entrepreneur,
That's right.
and then actually doing that, very successfully for others as well. So, Ben, when choosing to either build a high-growth tech company or deciding who to back and champion, what, in your view, are the most pivotal criteria that needs to be top of mind?
So for me, quite brazenly, it's the team. And I know every investor, go to all of their websites, it will say we back the teams. But if you look at the due diligence process of these institutional investment types, the VCs, the funds, they will typically have a very smart bunch of people who will look at data, metrics, market, and more, finding more and more reasons not to do a deal. So some of the most raging successes that I've ever seen or been privy to have always had entrepreneurs where at one stage their businesses were dead in the water. So whether it's the market's changed, they've lost a big customer, whatever it may have been, they've been facing death on the venture. And what they've tended to do, and the best guile, tenacity and drive from these entrepreneurs, have turned it around to big successes. So for me, when I say I back the team, I mean, show me the CVs of the individuals who's accountable to the success, give me 1 hour with each of them, and the deal is done.
Right, so Ben, give us a bit of a succinct tip sheet, if you will, for talent looking to break into the VC space.
So there's a report that came out recently which showed that 50% of all hires in the US VC market came from Harvard or Stanford, which doesn't really support the idea that the VC world is an open playing field. In the UK, Europe, it's a little bit of a different landscape. But for me, a tip sheet for budding VCs who want to get into the business and really cement themselves in one of the leading VCs, 3 things. 1, network really well. Most hires are made from people who know other people. So if you're not known, the chances of getting that position in a leading VC is going to be tough. So number 2, develop your themes and theses in these particular subsectors. So really own your space and your knowledge space. Develop insights, thoughts, reports, author it, publish it, mix it up with other people in other segment areas, but really try and work really hard on getting that insight out there. Thirdly, which is slightly unconventional, but one that I've done in my time, which is act as a bit of a free broker for these VCs and angels and ultra high net worths. Find the deals, accelerators, incubators, all these angel networks. There are plenty of deals out there. Find the ones you like and go and sponsor them to the relevant capital providers. That will then enable you to build up a CV of your kind of career highlights, your investing highlights. So when it comes to getting the job, you'll be able to list these things as your sponsored deals, which, let's be honest, when a VC is hiring you, they're wanting to know what deals you're most likely to sponsor.
Well, and you can't argue with evidence-based experience, can you?
That's right.
So talk to me about the funding landscape for early stage funding when it comes to a startup that wants to raise that valuable stage of capital.
Sure. So for me, I personally believe right now there is no greater time to be alive as an entrepreneur. I mean, there is so much capital in abundance everywhere to see your ideas thrive. You've got friends, family, and fools in existence, which we've always had, but more because venture investing has become more popular in mainstream. Everyone's talking about it on TV. You've then got the angel market, which for me is that first entry point for getting your business started. You have experienced angels who've typically had big exits before. They're wily, they know about the game very well. They're typically full-time and they've made a lot of money. You've got the mid-tier angels who are, some are experienced, some are not, but these are people who will usually either have their own small business or they're earning big salaries at some of the corporates. They want to diversify, get some of their capital, their earnings on a yearly basis into this ecosystem because it's exciting and you can understand the trend. And then you've got some of the investors on the earlier side, a little bit less experienced, and crowdfunding and early opportunities are allowing them to place smaller bets, perhaps with a little bit less expertise, but do so with a crowd nature. The government still has its wonderful SEIS and EIS schemes, which again is proving an invaluable service, because essentially what it does is it'll allow investors to get tax benefits, breaks back on if these ventures don't quite go as planned, which is a great fail-safe and an incentive to get and ignite this industry. In addition to that, you have seed funds now that are entering into that early stage alongside angels. You have kind of regional grant-based initiatives, which if you fit a certain quota or criteria or diversity or region, then you can potentially get onto these types of frameworks, which is great. It shouldn't be hard for any entrepreneur in this day and age to get their hands on early stage capital.
There's no excuse not to try as well,
No,
isn't it?
exactly.
So clearly, thank you for summarizing that for us, clearly very healthy and ample sources of funding for anyone who really has that fantastic idea and proposition and wants to see if it has legs. Now, let's talk a little bit about the talent pipeline, right? This is an industry, the technology industry in general, that still needs to talk about a gender balance. And it's really sad that we're still talking about that today. How can we ramp up more female take-up of, let's say, STEM careers? Do we need to think about doing this, for example, at school level? Do we need to think about introducing more schemes for work experience? For instance, Empiric runs Next Tech Girls, which matches young women with very, very invaluable tech experience at actual companies. What do you think we need to be doing to ramp that up?
So for me, for any diversity and balance, the things you've got to be mindful of is conditioning will always set in as we grow through from childhood to teenage years and growing into an adult. So for me, if we're wanting to provide a more level playing field for the female gender and believing they can be in this tech world and in any other industries, we've got to provide those opportunities earlier. I think there are lots of imbalances and diversity issues that perhaps don't get spoken about, and one that's dear to me as a Yorkshireman is class. So if you look at this tech ecosystem, quite a lot of it is privileged, very esteemed education. And I think some of the things we can do as an industry to balance that one out, we look at Manchester and Leeds, which are two northern hubs, really growing, really booming. Manchester especially, I think they can hold some big pull and magnetic forces to the audiences around those areas to kind of bring them into an industry that they might have thought was beyond them.
Go beyond the usual suspects, isn't
Exactly,
it? Sort
right.
of just keep the eyes open for talent across sectors, irrespective of background, whether it's gender, socioeconomic status, or education.
Exactly.
And on that note, thank you for being with us on Next Tech Insider.
I've loved it. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. And thank you for watching.